Jorge, this isn't too much pink, is it? I mean, that Barbie movie's dead and gone by now, isn't it? I mean, the trend is dead. Hey, hi, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under Season 3, Episode 7, aka the semi-final. And before we get things rolling, I'd like to thank this week's Tipper-Doo. From YouTube, Erin in Ottawa. How are you, doll? I hope things are all well in the nation's capital. Well as they can be. Seriously, let's not depress ourselves anymore. Let's move on to bigger and... Oh, I know. This'll cheer us up. Jorge, drink me! Oh, thank. It's another teacup. Oh, you got so many compliments on my last teacup that you thought you'd start a trend? All right, wait a second. What is that? You call it the Angela Lansbury. Brandy and what? Clam juice. Say what you will about this season of Drag Race Down Under. Was the production subpar? Yes. Were the queens a little unpolished and unrefined? Well, some more than others, sure. But I felt it was a return to true drag and not this manufactured over-the-top image that the drag race world has evolved it to. Now, don't get me wrong. I love this heightened level of televised drag, but it sets you up for a hell of a shock when you go to see a drag show at your local bar. Trust me, not all these dolls are strutting it out in $5,000 designer outfits. Hell, not all these drag race queens can afford one either. I, for one, am going to miss this simpler season of Drag Race, but as with them all, I'm also glad it's almost over. Seriously. We kicked this week off with the queens bidding Bumpa a fond farewell. As tough as it was for them to see the queen who'd given most of them their start in drag go, it was a competition after all, and, well, even the mighty can fall. Isis certainly didn't waste any time crowing about her second win, as well she should. You can see the other queens suppressing their showgirls' urge to kill. Some better than others. But that didn't stop them from celebrating the fact that they'd made it to the top 4. Hooray! Isis must have been feeling herself because as she was the only queen with 2 wins, she asked the other queens which of them was going home next. Actually, she was much more shady about it. She asked who they all thought would make it to top 3, along with her. Without hesitation, she answered her own question and said based on track record, Floor was the next to go. Hollywood wasn't so sure. She was still Team Floor and felt it was Gabby's time to sashay. Gabby just wanted to be the first Australian to win the Down Under crown. It's so good to have dreams. The next day in the workroom, Floor was feeling it. The pressure to win a challenge, that is. She knew it would be hard to win that crown without a win. Hard, but not impossible. That's what your last boyfriend said. Thankfully, Ru showed up with this week's Maxi Challenge, Makeovers! The queens had to, from what I understood from Norvina's video message, make over some proud dog owners and their pooches. As last week's challenge winner, Isis got to pick her makeover first and then assign the makeovers to the other queens. For herself, Isis picked Blue and her owner, Tana, who had a figure to rival Icy's. Floor wasn't impressed. Icy teamed Gabriella up with Aaron and his adorable dog, Billy. I thought it was funny that Isis said she was pairing up the queens based on how much they looked like which dog, which I bet the other queens loved hearing. And Isis apparently thought that Hollywood looked like Rupert, Irene's dog. Personally, I think with all of Rupert's gray, it was a subtle dig at calling Hollywood the oldest of the remaining queens. Oops, have I said too much? Which left the youngest of the remaining queens, the lovely Floor, teamed up with the beautiful Grace and her little cutie papootie, Burrito. I love a makeover challenge. It's an easy challenge to win. Just make your partner look as much like you as you can. An easy thing to do in drag makeup, especially if you're an overpainting queen. You can hide a lot of facial features under eyeliner and blush. I thought Gabriella would do good at this challenge. I feel like her makeup would translate well into just about any face. Icy too was a face that I felt was easy to put over other features, the way she extends both her eyebrows and her eyeliner. Because she's such a great makeup artist, I was sure Floor would do well as well. The only queen I wasn't sure of was Hollywood. She said that she'd not painted a lot of other faces other than her own, so This could all come down to the slightest details. Fingerdoo's crossed, these queens don't miss a trick. Seriously. Right away, the queens started bonding with their dogs and their owners. Isis could barely contain her delight at having Tana as a partner, but it was her dog Blue who really made a connection. Irene and Hollywood were getting on so well they didn't notice Rupert, aka Ru, stealing snacks. Now that's my kind of dog. Something that was a little shocking was hearing that poor Irene had lost a good friend to suicide over a month before taping this episode, and how much of a comfort her dog Rupert has been through it all. It was clear that this story touched Hollywood, who quickly offered Irene a comforting hug. Can I just say, Hollywood is such a class act. She is so empathetic about what's going on around her, the way she supports Floor, the grace that she has when she accepts a win or even a loss. And this queen is always showing the best side of her humanity. And I, for one, love her for it. Here's to Hollywood. Seriously. Good for you, doll. Floor and Grace bonded quickly over how similar their native languages were and that Grace's partner identifies as a trans male. The only thing Floor was worried about was how quiet Grace was. Floor needs the drama! Gabby, on the other hand, got straight to the point with Aaron. Would he be willing to shave his mustache? Aaron said he would. Needless to say, Senora Labucci was thrilled. It's probably why she pushed it and asked about the eyebrows. Aaron was less than keen, to say the least. As the queens started to plan their partners' transformations, Floor was worried about Gabriella. Is worried the right word? Maybe Schadenfreude is better, because even though Floor was saying she was worried about Gabriella's makeup skills for this challenge, Floor could not wipe that grin off her face. Schadenfreude. Of course, Ru showed up to throw her 2 cents into the pot. Or did she? Because all of a sudden she was all up in Hollywood's business talking about how she said she was 28, but her paperwork says she was 34. Gasp. Gag. Goop. Were you shocked? I was shocked. Don't get me wrong. I don't care. But still, if that queen doesn't walk away with a contract to promote skincare after this season, there is no justice in this world. Seriously. But I will point out that when production asked her how old she was, Hollywood asked back, how old do I look? Up to this point, I'd have said about 28, but in that lighting with that Grinch grin? And then it was elimination day. Although Aaron had shaved everything but his eyebrows, Gabriella was still a bit worried about how this makeover was going to go. I love that both her mom and her dad let her put them in drag for practice, but now it's time for perfection. And I have to say, I thought she was off to a good start the way she blocked out Aaron's eyebrows. Seriously, look at that. For a minute, I thought he'd shaved them too. While she was making Aaron up, Gabby shared her nervousness at being seen as sexy on stage. Can I just say, I get what Gabriella's saying about feeling sexy, but here's the thing. It's not about feeling sexy. I'll bet you sexy people don't feel sexy. It's about feeling confident. Once you have that, sexy just happens. So, while Gabby tried to kickstart her confidence, she was going to need Aaron to feel it as well. Maybe for both of them. I'd let Aaron feel it. Speaking of feeling it, Floor's partner Grace was overwhelmed at how welcoming her experience on Drag Race was, and to the LGBTQI expialidocious community at large as well, which she was introduced to through her husband. Grace met him while he was transitioning, and he was very instrumental in opening up her eyes and mind. It's a very touching and emotional moment until Floor showed Grace her new face. Well, and then the diva arrived. Floor was so pleased that she felt this was going to be her week for a win. Justice for Floor! And then it was time to hit the runway. Ru was looking extra scrummy in her shimmy-trimmed gown and platinum locks. Michelle was rocking another one-armed bandit, this time with ombre sequins. And yes, ombre sequins was my drag queen name in high school. Reese was rocking both sleeves beautifully in his damask blazer, and joining the judges this week, the beyond dreamy Aussie footballer and proud G in our LGBTQI expialidocious community, Josh Cavello. Category is Drag Family Resemblance, Doggy Style. Up first, Hollywood and Ava Star with their little dog, Ruby. I have to say, turbans aside, I like these outfits, but short of the turbans, there was nothing about this look that said they were from the same family. More like they shopped at the same store. Norma Kamali. I still gave them a Fingerdoo because they looked so good. Isis, Avis, Venus, Tina, and Neptune Loren were next, and right off the top, I didn't care how much they looked alike, which, let's be fair, they didn't. I wish Isis had gone as big on Venus's eye makeup as she had on her own. I also think it would have been helpful if Isis had bronzed up her shoulders a bit to match Venus's tan. But I am splitting Wig Here's hair because I was gagged by their eleganza. Look at those outfits. Look at those wigs. Look at Venus Tina Loren's padding. I also loved Isis's running commentary while they were posing for the judges. Fingerdoo for the Lorens and their little dog too. Seriously. Flora and Rosa took the stage next with their little burrito bouquet not far behind. I thought these two looked good. I liked how Flora had the red wig and white dress and Rosa had the white wig and red dress. It definitely helped build their family resemblance, although I'd be lying if they were closer than distant cousins. But family nonetheless, so Fingerdoo for Flora, Rosa, and their little bouquet. Finally, the Labucci's took the stage, and I was torn. I thought Gabriella did an excellent job on both their makeups. Was there a family resemblance? Absolutely. Was Isabella Labucci padded for the gods? She most definitely was. Did their outfits suck? So hard, my ears popped. Ugh, I get it. She's trying to serve Wilma Flintstone and Betty Rubble realness with a much-needed makeover. So why didn't Gabby cut off those horrible pointy hems and add some fabric from the workroom wall to give their outfits a makeover too? It would have taken her no time at all to just zhuzh those Party City dresses up, and, well, because she didn't, I have to give her a finger don't. Seriously, how do you get a makeover only from the neck up? As for what the judges thought, Hollywood and Ava Starr were first. Michelle didn't think there was much of a family resemblance. Rue asked Hollywood what their story was. Holly wove a tale about the Hollywood and Ava Starr resort where you would see the likes of Madonna and RuPaul. RuPaul said no. Good-natured foreshadowing. Isis and Venus were next, and right out of the gate, Michelle commented on how lucky Venus was to get Isis, the queen of the sewing machine. She expected Isis to excel in this challenge, and, well, Michelle wasn't let down. Reese loved the look, and although he could see a family resemblance, he reckoned that they, well, didn't get along. I love how cheeky Venus was when Rue asked her about her padding and her shoes, but I also want to take a moment to point this out. Isis obviously didn't have white shoes for Venus to wear, so she white duct taped the toes of these so you wouldn't see that they were pink. That's attention to detail, and what I'm talking about where Gabby's outfits were concerned. Take note, baby queens. Cheers to Isis. Ooh. Flora and Rosa were next. Josh said he got a very sweet and nurturing vibe from their runway. Michelle was getting an auntie and niece vibe, which was all the family resemblance she needed. And then Rosa took a moment to thank Rue and Drag Race for being so welcoming to her and the Rainbow family in general. Cheers to Rosa! Seriously. It's starting to get better. It's starting to grow on me. Last, but far from least, were the Labucci's. Michelle went on some jag about them representing the two best friends from history and that friends are family and, well, she got it. But then when she was finished her rant, she said they didn't look like family at all. But she did compliment Gabby on Isabella's makeup. Rue wanted to know how Gabriella landed on this idea for the runway. Initially, Gabby was going to work for the wonk wonk, but was taking the critiques about serving some sexy realness to heart, and this is where she landed. I don't know if it was a soft landing. Back in the workroom, Hollywood was convinced she was going to be lip-syncing. Gabs wasn't feeling too good about her prospects either, but she still felt proud about the work she did and how well Isabella looked, even if she did forget to sit like a lady. Is there an echo? Back on the main stage, I don't think anyone was surprised that it was another win for Isis Avis Loren. Pissed off, yes, but surprised, no. What was surprising was that Flora was also a winner. It was a tie! Now all the queens going into the finale have a win. The only thing left to do was see which queen wasn't going to the finale. Gabriella Labucci or, gasp, Hollywood Star. Right away, I was scared for Gabby. She's not the dancing queen Hollywood is. Plus, Holly has 2 wins compared to Gabby's 1. Also, Hollywood's runway has been exquisite, yet the judges see growth and personality from Gabs. Never was more riding on a single lip sync. I'm so serious. The song, Haiku Hands Not About You, a high-energy pop anthem that is loaded with fast lyrics. This wasn't going to be a cakewalk for either queens, but clearly Hollywood had the edge. She popped it, she locked it, she dropped it like it was hot. Holly delivered exactly what I expected. One hell of a show. But I have to give it to Gabriella Labucci. She not only kept up, but she didn't suck. No, she didn't have the tricks and stunts Holly did, but Gabby didn't overuse her claim to fame, which is camping it up. Yes, she dipped into the camping zone once or twice, but for the most part, Gabriella Labucci served up a lip sync for your life like someone who actually wanted to live. That said, it was still a shock to hear it was Gabriella Labucci who shantaed, and it was the cool and smooth 34-year-old Hollywood star who sashayed away. Now, I don't want to take anything away from Gabriella. I think all 4 queens deserve to make it to top 3, but I'm also very happy that Ru did send someone home. I think top 3 is more impressive when it is only top 3. Seriously. Still, I am completely shocked that Hollywood got the job. How about you? Was this the ending you saw coming? Did you see a different queen going home, or did you even see 2 different queens in the bottom? Did you see a different queen sashaying away? And now that we're down to the top 3, who do you see winning it all? Personally, I think they all deserve to win, but I also think not many would argue with me when I say that the odds-on favorite seems to be Isis Avis Loren. Gabriella Labucci has certainly been stepping things up as far as those judges are concerned, but if anyone was going to make a sneak attack for the win, I'd like to see Floor take it. How about you? Are you Team Icy, Team Gabs, or Team Floor? Let me know in the comments down below, and while you're down there, don't forget to like this video if you did, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and if you'd like to support the Fingerdoo review with a Tipperdoo, there's the YouTube thanks button just under this window, or the Tipperdoo link in my description box. Speaking of my description box, I also have links to my Patreon page where the Wilma Fingerdoo family meet twice a month for live chats, and I've got a link to my RedBubble store where you'll find all sorts of gorgeous Wilma merchandise. Like these 2 new designs that were just added by my sister from another Mr. Denise Gjernoe, aka my Wig Whisperer. We've got Wilma Fest for all you beer lovers out there. It's an Oktoberfest celebration on a t-shirt or a mug or whatever the heck you want to get. And this gorgeous little beauty in time for Halloween is called Wilma Vira. That's right. Denise reimagined me as the Queen of the Night. And I'm okay with that. Mistress of the Night. Is it Mistress of the Night? Yeah. Queen of the Night's Whitney Houston. Pardon me. Anyway, that link to my RedBubble store is down below as well. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you had a good time, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, stay healthy, stay happy, and miss me! Ah, seriously, Jorge. Oh my God, I'm so shocked that Hollywood went home. I couldn't have predicted that. If I had money, I would have bet hands down that Hollywood would have been in the top 3, regardless. I don't care how old she is. 34, 28. I like that she thought, like, saying 28, I like that age because it was older than 22. But I guess she thought being 30, I don't know. Maybe she thought if she was too old, they'd expect more from her? I don't know, she said she was 28, and they seemed to expect a lot from her anyway. I don't know, if I were her, I would have progressed my wardrobe. I would have started kind of dowdy and worked my way up to gorgeous and let the judges think that their influence had inspired me. I'll tell you what, a drag race.